To arrive in style, first you have to arrive.
Don't understand what's going on here.
The all-new fourth generation.
This is Lungani Gwala, aka Chocolate Kid Leo. Join our growing show, The Global Sunday. We stream live on YouTube every Sunday, 11:30 a.m. for American MT time. African time, 8:30 p.m. every Sunday. We host special guests. We give you latest news, global news, and the entertainment news. Click the link below if you want to find out more. Thumbs up and some hearts. Cheers.
Hi, my name is Ashley DeChristina. I go by Ash. Make time for what you love and for the people you love. Thank you for watching Global Sundays with Lungani.
What up, world? My name is Jesse Villegas. I'm originally from Phoenix, Arizona. Currently, I reside in Prescott, Arizona. I own and operate a coffee shop called The Porch. Work hard and be kind. You are watching Global Sunday with Lungani.
For those that don't know me, I'm a singer. I'm a singer who loves God. You know, I'm that singer who loves God. I sing with Him every time I am to sing. So I'm that singer that tells a story.
With anything in life, there will be challenges, there will be hurdles and stumbling blocks. But I honestly think to make it, you need perseverance, number one. Secondly, you need dedication.
Ay, bathi khuluma nomfana uMatshesi kama kanjani uLungani Gwala lo aka umfana kaChocolate othi ngiziphi izandla ungajampisi. Welcome to the Global Sunday Show. Yes, it's another day. It is another Sunday. Global Sunday Season 2. Oh man, I am so excited. I'm so excited. I'm not gonna take so much time. I know today is a big day. We have a huge artist. As you know, we always bring you the best in this show. So I just hope my panelists is not gonna ask me about my week and so forth. So I'm not looking forward to be part of that today. But let me just go straight to it and introduce my panel. And then let's just kickstart the show. Please welcome. If you're watching on Facebook, welcome. If you are watching on Diverse TV, welcome. If you're watching on Facebook, yes. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, The Global Sunday. Oh man, this is so amazing. But all the way from Arizona, Mr. Ken Laden, all the way from Germany, People Tafel, all the way from South Africa, Princeton, and all the way from Australia, Mr. David Pike in the building. Guys, take over the show. It is all yours.
Well, welcome. We do indeed have an amazing guest. We always do. And actually, you see Princeton here. Now, Princeton was one of our amazing guests, and he kind of came in the green room, came in the studio, and he never left. Anyway, so we're going to go do our regular intro. We're going to just say how everybody's week was. My week was very busy. I just, for the public record, I got COVID in mid-November, and I have the long COVID syndrome. So, my days are a little bit slower, a little bit less intense than normal, just because I need to rest more to catch my breath. But just in terms of informing the public, even though you may get the long COVID, you can still be productive. You just have to really pace yourself. And so, my week this week was wonderful. Mr. People Tafel was here from Germany, and very sadly, we had to say goodbye to him. He was here for 2 months, and that was wonderful. And also, I'm involved in a huge production that opens on March 5th. And it's got a full symphony orchestra, a 95-voice choir, and a company of 13 dancers. So I have 1 or 2 things I was working on this week. So I'm going to toss it from there to Mr. Pike in Australia. How was your week?
Quite busy. I was doing a lot of paperwork, not so much artwork, but yeah, I do language testing at one of the colleges I work at, and I've been assessing all the students, their English language level. So it's long days of interviewing and reporting. So, and then on the weekend I was away. So trying to be on the beach and spend a couple of hours with nature. But yeah, busy week, but productive. Over to you, Mr. Pepo.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you all here. It's truly international and the global Sunday. I'm so happy to see you all, and also to be on a panel with Princeton, who I've seen on the articulations. It's exciting. It's great. For my part, I was speechless when last week a war started because one country decided to go into another country. I'm shocked. I think I don't know what to say about it, but I really, instead of being religious, I would say I still could say I'm praying for all of those people who are suffering from that. So apart from many things that happened, that was a big shock. And I just know that there's always those things going on and we tend to forget about them. And it reminded me how lucky I am to have friends, true friends, who stand by my side when I'm in trouble. And I got aware of that last week again, how important it is to have that. So, Princeton, how was your week?
My week has been a blessing, man. It's quite a busy week. I was busy doing some social media for a client of mine. Besides the music, I do a bit of web design, graphic design, and social media. But my week was great. My Saturday was even better. I was on the beach. I spent the day at the beach yesterday with the kids. It was my niece's birthday. So I was just the guy putting everything together, making sure that everybody's safe. But yeah, had a beautiful day on the beach, man. Lovely weather in Durban. Yeah, it's been a blessing so far. Great week.
So we're going to, Lungani just happened to just dodge that "how was your week" question. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a congressional investigation into his week, and I'm going to see exactly what he's trying to cover up. But until we do that, let's go to the entertainment news for this week. And then on the other side of the news, we are going to introduce you all to one of the most amazing artists out there today. All right, so just on the other side of the entertainment news, we will do our reveal, and until then, I'll turn it back over to Lungani.
Straight from the top, ready or not. I got my bros straight from the top, ready or not.
Ready? No, I got all my bands on, no. I'm just making all this money, yeah, I'm catching up. All my niggas in the street trying to get it all. All my niggas by the go up, yeah, we get it all. This shit, hunters, no. Making money, oh no.
Do it, so yeah.
Lungani's on.
Yes, welcome to the entertainment news. Yes, I'm your boy Ulungani Gwala. Thank you so much, Mr. Laden. I've got only two things that I do want to share with you today. The first one is really, really sad news. We recently lost a very special artist from South Africa by the name of Uriki Riki. Oh man, he was a really, really dope. We use the word dope in the hip hop world. He was really dope. He had bars, he had style, he had fashion. I mean, he's so young. It's just it's hurting me. But yeah, rest in peace to you, Ricky Ricky. Yeah, I'm still trying to find out exactly what happened. I heard a lot of people about it, and he hanged himself, but it's something that I saw on social media and stuff like that. But I really want to get into the story and find out exactly what happened to him. Just to find the core of the story. So yeah, rest in peace to Ricky Ricky, and sending our condolences as the Global Sunday to Ifemelia Ricky Ricky. Lastly, I want to talk about the upcoming artist Lisa Marie. Lisa Marie, she is working on her new music video, which is going to be released soon, and it is called Please Don't Let Go. Probably by the following week, we will have like a trailer or a promo video of that music video. It's really something interesting, something new, and yeah, she's looking forward to having collaborations with internationals, especially from Africa, because she's a big fan of Africa. So yeah, shout out to you, Lisa Marie, if you are watching. Yeah, drop a comment below. Yeah, that's it for entertainment news. I'm just gonna toss it back, take a 30-second break, and toss it back to my panel so we can introduce today's guest. Oh man, I am so super excited. All right, I'll see you guys on the other side.
She rolling with me, now she know my whip. They rolling on me, now down my wrist. I got bangs, lights, relics. Ready, or not, we coming hard, straight from the top. Ready or not, I got my bros straight from the top. Ready or not.
Ready? No, I got all my bands on, no. I'm just making all this money, yeah, I'm cashing up. All my niggas in the street tryna get it all. All my niggas by the go up, yeah, we get it all. This shit, hunters, no. Making money, oh no.
Welcome back, and this is the moment of truth. As always, when we introduce our guests. Now, I just want to remind everybody that art leads culture forward. Art, not anything else, really, because all of the technology and the fuel and the industry and all of that supports society. But what leads us forward is art. And every now and then, you get an artist who can bridge the barriers, break the boundaries, reach out beyond just the little pod that you start in. And today's guest is one of those, internationally recognized, worldwide, so many awards that I had to stop reading the list. I'm like, yeah, more. Anyway, so our guest today is a Christian music sensation, crossover artist, Lisa Mitz. Welcome, Lisa, to the building. Hello, Lisa.
Hello. Oh my goodness, it's so good to be with you.
It's great to have you here. And, we everybody on this panel has something to do with music. David Pike is an international jazz artist playing the trumpet, but also he's an orchestral composer. Of course, Princeton is an innovator. He's an artist. He's a songwriter. He's a performer. He's everything. And then Pipo Toffel is in the music and dance video production. He started off as a dancer, then choreographer, and now is doing that. So we all got our fingers in the pot. So just to introduce the real heart of this subject, which is you and your music, we're talking about music that's inspired by spirit, by spirituality. And that kind of music is an expression of an intangible feeling that a person has when spirit has entered them. It's elevated. It's very different. It's like you can look at a lot of paintings, you say, oh, that's good, that's good. And then when it's a masterpiece, you're like, oh, whoa, this is different. And that's what this kind of music is. So instead of introducing you on your bio and things like that, and pardon my voice, it comes and goes with this COVID thing. I'd love for you, if you can, to describe the first time you were aware of having spirit speak from your heart through your voice. And what was that like?
Oh, gosh. So, to answer that question, I really have to kind of just give a little bit of my background, because having been raised in classical music and growing up on the piano, really, all the way into college, I really put all of that aside. When I got married, I had 4 kids, and I was always, just in life at that moment, not pursuing my music at all. It wasn't until after I had come through a very, very traumatic situation, actually, before I had kids, where my life was really threatened. And I knew at that moment I had encountered both evil and good. And I didn't know how to put words into it. While I love Jesus with all my heart now, at that time I didn't really know God personally. I knew of God, but I was always pursuing his spirit in one way or the other, trying to get healing, trying to get comfort to a very difficult time that had happened, an incident that had happened. It was later when we had moved to Seattle, Washington, many, many years later. I had come to know Jesus as my personal savior. I never walked into a church. I really encountered his love and really the comfort that I was so looking for through friendships, through a business, through models of other people. But having walked through that many years later in Seattle, my husband and I actually began a ministry. And I wasn't looking for that, but it was just really something that organically happened. And I started back in my music. I had never written a song, but it was really the cry of my heart to be in touch with God's spirit, to know that spirit. I spent 7 years in the New Age. In my early 20s, I did everything from walking on fire to jumping off mountains and being with gurus and, visiting psychics, trying to find some kind of meaning and purpose and power and truth and understanding. But it wasn't until I encountered the pure love, forgiveness, healing that I so desperately wanted, knowing who I was, that's when that music got rebirthed in me. And so my first song really was in that place of, I remember hearing God. It was really a cry for people to know and for God to hear the cries of his people, what was going on in the world. That was one of my very first songs. It was called Hear the Cries. And from there, that kind of evolved into becoming a worship leader, which I did for many years before I crossed over and started writing other kinds of music.
Wonderful. David, you're very involved in music. Weigh in there.
Yes, Lisa, a big pleasure to meet you. I've sampled some of your work because of coming on this program, and I was very impressed with the quality of the not only the artistry, but the way the acumen, the musical acumen that you applied to it. I began playing trumpet casually in a church, but I did it for many, many years. And people ask me sometimes, stage fright or anything. I said, well, it was just music and that was always part of the church experience, and it gave me the confidence. And I know in America that the Christian and the gospel music scene it's not a second-rate standard of artistry. I recall a trumpet player called Phil Driscoll that you might be aware of, who does gospel. He was in Blood, Sweat and Tears, the lead trumpeter, and he is no slouch on the brass. He's right at the top of his artistic game, but he's an exponent of gospel music. So I can see how that's all coming together for you. And as we know, the old composers, they were Mozart and Bach, and everybody was patronized by church authorities, because the church is a communal experience, and music brings people together, and music speaks to people through spirit. So that's my summary, and it's a real pleasure to meet you and see what you're doing. Some good things.
Yeah, hello also from me.
Oh, sorry.
Excuse me, sorry.
I'm sorry, people. Our lineup changed right before we went on air, and I had you in a different place in the script. Take it, Pipo.
There we go. You know what it is, when I have my entrance scheduled, nothing can keep me from it. Just the fact that there might be a different schedule for someone else. Oops. So big hello also from Germany, and it reminds me of being in the Cologne Cathedral and entering into that building, and the majesty and the fact that it's still, they've been working on it for centuries. So if there is something that makes people do that and create a work that goes beyond their lifetime and their lifespan, that means there's something big behind it. You need to have a real vision, a real trust. And going into there and then seeing people coming together and meeting also made me aware of the connection that is there. I felt that connection when I started to study dance, and I felt I have arrived, these are my peers. However, they keep on going and coming, and it's a constant change. So I also thought about Carlos Castaneda when you spoke about your search and the books he wrote in the early 60s, before what we call the hippie times, how he went to the desert and met an Indian and did all those things searching for his place. I can very much relate to your search. I feel like that has happened from a very early time on for me, going and searching, and it sounds amazing that you say that you have found this in your travels, and I think then things also just fall into place. So I'm very curious on what's gonna come next, and very happy to be here with you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Princeton, you're up.
Yeah. This Shifting News Updates. We'll be right back. This is Global Sunday.
Welcome to the Global Sunday News. Today is February 27th, 2022. I'm reporting for TGSN. I'm Kenneth Ludden. In world news today, we start with a definitive announcement about COVID-19. Just announced today, just a few hours ago, a new study has found that COVID-19 virus originated in the open market in Wuhan, China, and not in a laboratory. Epidemiologists have long known that the formulation of the virus was the same as other viruses that had jumped from the animals to human worlds. This will put to rest controversy and conspiracy theories about the origin of this disease. At least we can hope so. Just last week, the United States was taken off the list for dangerous locations for international travel. Germany, known for very strict regulations, ceased requiring negative COVID test results for individuals entering who are coming from the United States, which is a major, major change. This is just one more indication that the COVID Omicron variant is less lethal overall, and that the virus may have lost its extreme virulence and on its way to becoming something to live with in the future instead of something that disrupts every part of our lives. However, Hong Kong and some other locations around the world are still in an extreme state of emergency and high infections. Their healthcare systems and hospitals are overrun, and we do not know that there won't be more variants of the COVID virus coming. Turning in a different direction then, the former US President Donald Trump has had a week of very bad legal setbacks and the investigations into his criminal activity in his businesses and his incitement of a riot on January 6 last year. He and his 2 children will have to testify under oath in New York and in Georgia. Even the Supreme Court has ruled against him, forcing him to give documents to the investigators and to appear in person to testify. In addition, he personally packed 15 crates of top secret documents and took them from the White House to his Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida when he left office. This is a violation of what is called the Presidential Records Act. And violations of that act carry a sentence of 5 years in prison, as well as being prohibited from ever holding public office again. Similarly, in Georgia, the investigation into his trying to manipulate the people in charge of the votes in Georgia to find the number of votes that he needed to be able to overthrow that election result, that also, if he's found guilty, carries the same restriction that he can never hold public office again. Moving on, in Argentina, the economy is near collapse. And the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund are under investigation for having loaned them funds without doing their proper due diligence. Should the Argentine government not be able or permitted to renegotiate the faulty loans, then in a few weeks it will fall into forfeiture and their entire economy will collapse. As it is, there is the highest inflation in its history currently, causing widespread hunger, homelessness, and despair among the population. The procedure for making loans at the World Bank and the IMF are under review, and it is hoped that these organizations will be held accountable for the destruction they have caused, rather than a disaster falling on the citizens of Argentina, even worse than they're experiencing now. We have history in the United States. We are about to have hopefully cleared for taking the post in our Supreme Court, the first Black female in history to sit on the highest court of the land. We will have an update on that next week, because by then, or our next program, week after next, pardon me, by then the deliberations in our Senate will be well underway. Thank you for listening, and now we will return to our program. For the Global Sunday News, I'm Kenneth Ludden.
Everything paid for, it's on me. You ain't gotta stress cause you're VIP. Penthouse suite, fresh white sheets. Whatever you like, girl, it's your treat. Shotgun in a guinea. Hit the beach in your tiny bikini. Rickshaw ride, cow skin vibe. Swim with the sharks, baby, it's alright. Girl, you're looking fly today. In every kind of way. Muscany falsetto. Let me take you to the ghetto. You could be my tidal wave. Take me away. Girl, what you say? It's a beautiful day. Welcome to Durban. Welcome to my city, yeah. Welcome to Durban, Durban. Welcome to my city, yeah. Pop champagne, no pity. The sun never sets in my city. We can do shots, yacht life vibes, oyster box, you decide. Life's different near the water. Anything you want, you can order. Copter rides over the ocean. We in slow motion. Girl, you looking fly today in every kind of way. Muscally falsetto. Let me take you to the ghetto. You could be my tidal wave. Take me away. Girl, what you say? It's a beautiful day. Welcome to Durban. Welcome to my city, yeah. Welcome to Durban, Durban. Welcome to my city, yeah. Ooh, Durban City, Durban City, Durban City, Durban City, Durban City, Durban City. Durban City, Durban City. Ooh, Durban City, Durban City, Durban City.
Princeton, and welcome to Durban. This is actually one of my favorite music video. You know why? I know a lot of you are sick and tired of hearing this, but I am going to say it again. You know why? Because a lot of people do not know anything about Durban. Whenever we talk about Durban, South Africa, whenever we talk about KZN, you know, they always think about these hungry kids who has snots and, you know, they're just dirty walking on the muds. But they do not know that we have beautiful buildings, beautiful people, beautiful culture, the ocean next to us. Oh man, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. So if you want to know how Durban is, I would urge you to book your ticket and travel to Durban. Not this year, maybe. Maybe next year when COVID is like, we don't know what's going to happen, but it's a really, really nice place to be. But let me toss it over to our panel so they can continue, you know, to have this amazing discussion. Yeah, People Tafel, let me toss it over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you, Lungani. Welcome back to the Global Sunday. I also love that video, Princeton. It's amazing. I've been looking at it for many times when working with Lungani also. And I was wondering, is that your niece you were talking about?
That is one of them. And that's my son with her as well. Yeah. They're actually cousins, yes.
It's beautiful. It really is. And you feel that they have this connection. It's a great video. So I have a question, and I have one that comes from me because I also didn't know. So Lisa, I listen to radio, web radio, and it's called AccuRadio. It has a channel. It's called Contemporary Christian. And I always thought, because I listen a lot to jazz music, I was like, what's contemporary Christian? So I also, for those in our global audience who may not know, could you give us more information on that? What exactly is contemporary Christian music?
Well, today, contemporary Christian music really expands, it covers many different styles of music or genres, but it focuses on primarily the love and personal relationship with God, knowing Jesus, his forgiveness, and it's expressed in, you can have contemporary rock, you can have contemporary hip hop, Christian music, contemporary R&B Christian music. Typically the CCM, label is very also centered on praise and worship. You have Christian music stations today. Many of them are produced in Nashville. They have, a certain kind of sound. You have anything from Toby Mac to Lauren Daigle. But for me, it's an interesting thing because even though I love Jesus, I call myself a Jesus lover, Christianity today some people get like, oh my gosh, I'm Jewish, actually, I was raised Jewish. So I never ever wanted to grow up as an adult to be a Christian. I was more, like I said earlier, looking for a relationship. And I realized the only real relationship was through Jesus, to know God personally in that way. And so so I became an artist who loves God. It's an interesting thing because I don't always fit into the contemporary Christian, what you hear on the radio, because my music has spanned so many different styles. And sometimes I like to write also where it's not just, I love praise and worship, but I've written many, many songs over the last several years that's really more about touching the heart, touching the love that we all need, the healing that I've gone through. And it's not like something that you would sing in church, but it does penetrate people in a way that, they want to go, I wonder what she's talking about there.
So on that, Lisa, I was going to ask you, talk about in your contemporary writing or what you're producing or thinking about in the near future, what's the style? How would you describe if somebody went into a record shop and take off the Christian label, which is the integral part of it, but if it was just music, what main style would you emulate?
For me personally, what's my style that I'm emulating?
In the music, yeah.
There's been so many different artists that have influenced me. I've been influenced a lot by Stevie Nicks. I've had people tell me my music video, The Breakthrough. So many people tell me that, you remind me of Stevie Nicks in that video. I've had other people, I had a couple of people tell me, several, when I released my To Be Loved music video. One particular guy said he was playing it and his mom came in the room and said, so when did one of the Celtic women fly solo? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That was a huge compliment. I just did a gig in an art gallery a couple of weeks ago, and I had a guy come up to my husband and say, does she do Nora Jones? Because she sounds kind of like. So it's an interesting thing. I've had so many different, I'm writing music now that kind of inspired by Colby Calais, Sarah Bareilles, all of these, people that have made such an impact. So it's hard to answer that question because I've been influenced.
I knew it would be, but you did a marvelous job. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if I take one collection of songs by a particular artist, abuse, spousal abuse, rights of women, family, longing, loss, all of those things. I'm talking about Aretha Franklin. Everything that she did came from that same place that you talk about. It's about the feeling of love and the need for the love. And the journey is so often started by some painful experience, some just unimaginable thing. When I hear your music and the variety and all of the different voices, it's something special. Just like Aretha's music was something special. There are many artists like that. Artists that you wouldn't imagine are like that. Like, for instance, Chita Rivera. Everything that she does is because of that, for her, that sort of Catholic Christian, sense of belonging, the thing that heals you. And I think that that's just really, really important. And I'm so glad that we're able to talk about this. And like David said, if it was just music, because it is just music, all of it, everything we all do is just music when it comes down to it. And music is one of the universal languages, and just the sound of it. So I think that it's great. And with that, I'm going to go to Princeton for his take on it, and I believe he has another question after that.
Yeah, man. Hi, Lisa.
Hi. Hi, Princeton.
Yeah, such an honor to actually chat with you tonight. Funny, I was watching your, out of all the videos that you have, the first video I clicked on earlier on is called Breakthrough. So it's funny that you talk about that, and just going through life in general, like the topic, I think the title itself kind of caught me, because most times in life, when you wake up every day, you work, you go about your day, all you're looking for is a breakthrough, so I think that title kind of stood out for me, Yes. And I wanted to ask you, like, been doing music for so long. I mean, me myself as a musician, I've never won an award before. For you, that's won so many awards like around the world. What does it feel like? And like, what was your first award? And how do you like that recognition? How do you go about that? What does it feel like for you?
So first of all, that's such a cool question, especially in light of what you talked about with the breakthrough, which is the video I mentioned where people thought, oh, that sounds like Stevie Nicks kind of thing. It actually, so I'll tell the story of that in a minute, but my very first award was 2019, when I was nominated for the International Singer-Songwriter Association. And I received the Female Songwriter of the Year so they have a bronze, silver, and a gold. And I got the bronze. Yeah. For me, that was like this huge, incredible breakthrough. It really came out of right when I was starting to work with my producer now, Brandon B. But the real breakthrough, and so that felt amazing. That felt amazing, no question. I was at the award ceremony. They called my name. We had flown in from Seattle to Atlanta, had to drive another hour and a half or an hour from the airport to where the awards was, and got there, and we sat in our seats. Just 10 or 15 minutes later, I hear my name being called up on the stage, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was shaking. We got there just in time. And so I remember that, and I thought, wow, for an artist, I started, like I said, even though I was raised in music as a child all the way through college, I put it aside, and it wasn't until my youngest was 10 that I started pursuing it again. So it was kind of that feeling of, wow, I don't want to have regrets at the end of my life. So it was an incredible feeling to know that I had gone back to pursue my music and got my first award. So that was cool. But the real I don't know if you want me to go on or if there's another question, but the real breakthrough came. So I'll tell you that if you want me to.
Yes, of course. We want to hear everything.
All right. So that was 2019. So 2020, I worked, as I said, I had started writing with my producer, and actually I had come to him with these 3 songs, one of which was The Breakthrough. And that's Brandon had done that first album with me. We made like an EP. He produced it. We hadn't co-written yet together, but he said, oh, I like these songs. Would you like to, I think it would be great if we could co-write. And I'm like, oh yeah, that would be amazing. But in the meantime, he went and produced this album, this EP, The Breakthrough. So I did this video And then in 2020, I was nominated for the ISA again, the International Singer-Songwriters. And COVID broke out, of course, we all know. So the award ceremony was canceled in person, but they did it on YouTube. They did a live thing, and the judges were announcing the winners. So lo and behold, I end up, they're announcing album of the year. So I have been nominated in like 4 different categories: songwriter, music video, album, entertainer, and I hadn't gotten anything. So I'm sitting on the couch with my husband thinking, oh, well, I'm not going to get anything this year. So they do the bronze, they do the silver. The album of the year was the very last category that I was nominated in. So I thought, well, I'm not getting anything this year. So they get to the gold and they announce, and the gold winner is The Breakthrough, Lisa Mitch. And I mean, I jumped off that couch and screamed. And the thing about it, what was so amazing, having won the gold award like that with, you know, thousands of artists from all over the world, is that it was the story of my own journey, the breakthrough. It's all about, one of the lines is, this is how the darkness feels right before the dawn. This is what the breakthrough looks like right before it comes. And I felt like that was my own journey as an artist, that I had come up against so many walls in my life, you know, like I mentioned, painful trauma. And now I was expressing it through a song. Like you were saying, music is the language of the heart that just can heal so many of us. And so that album, The Breakthrough, in and of itself was a breakthrough for me, and as a journey in my artistry, in my songwriting. And yeah, and then from there, that opened up over the last couple of years. I think I went on and have gotten other, you know, Intercontinental Music Awards. I got the Artist of the Year, Best Contemporary Christian of North America. I got Best Song Production for The Breakthrough from the World Songwriting Awards. It's just really been an incredible, the Red Carpet Awards in Holland, Artist of the Year. So it kind of, that song and that album just opened up The Breakthrough, which is what my message is to so many of us out there, so many of us indie artists, so many people, my kids. I want to leave them with that legacy of saying, don't give up on your dream. Don't give up because it feels dark. You know, that's a sign of how you know the breakthrough is about to come.
Listen.
Well, you've answered the question. Sorry, jump in there, Pipo.
I probably talked too much, sorry.
Pipo.
Ken, we are on an interesting schedule, you and me. Later, I want to go through that. I think it's pretty cool because you are on the point. Okay, so there's a couple of things, and it made me think of a friend. He's in his 70s now, and he's a microbiologist. And we always do the harvest of the olives in his place in Italy. It's called Rocca Secca. And that's next to the castle where I think Thomas of Aquin was born. And we talked about how did he get there? He's a professor. Now he's not a professor any longer, but he keeps on working on different things. And he said, Pippo, because he's Italian. And so I never thought about the job or the professor. I just wanted to do my thing. And that's remarkable because very easily you get attracted to a position and for me, that means a position is usually a fantasy of myself. It's not the truth. It's not the reality. It's something that I make up until you get there and then you see what it actually means. So I think it's fantastic if you do and follow your own inner calling, and then you have an extrinsic thing that says, yes, we think also that this is beautiful. And what happens to me is that I get confused if people like something that I did, because I feel, yeah, but I gotta do it anyway. So it's very interesting, the whole question of recognition and the external view, because you said it usually comes from a place of darkness. And I think in the places of darkness, what it means is when there's no light, we do not see. And when we do not see, probably if we are able to go inside and see ourselves, we can create a new light that gets us out of the darkness, rather than waiting for the spotlight to show our silhouette and our external appearance, the clothing, the makeup, the hair. And, you know, maybe in my case later it will be a couple of operations and make my lips or nose, or I don't know. Well, anyway, it's very interesting to hear you talking about it and how you felt about it. And especially when fellow artists give a feedback, that's kind of essential. I think then when we relate to it and we can actually get a connection and finally see we are not alone on this world with what we have inside. And in the social media times, probably we forget that a musician is used to speak about the inside. And it's not for the outside representation, but what it is for is to talk about the inner truth.
Yes. Can I just say, I really, really appreciate what you just said, because see, for me, it's not about winning the awards like that defines me, because I think too many artists today, you know, the tragedies, right? What we just heard in the news of that artist who possibly hung himself, how many musicians and artists today have, or famous people, actors, you know, are empty really, or struggling so much inside and end up taking their lives, you know. And that, for me, as someone who loves God, you know, Jesus said, what does it profit a man or a woman if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? So having received the awards doesn't so much define me. It's just more of, it's like a little bit for me of a kiss from, you know, heaven. So to say, hey, don't give up, and be an inspiration for others too, in that way that they can believe for their dream, because it's really all about, for me, empowering and inspiring others to go for that and not give up. So thank you. I really, really appreciate what you said, because truly, you know, I'm nobody. I mean, the truth is, as an indie artist today, come on, let's be real, I'm nobody compared to, and I don't even want necessarily that fame. I just want to do, like you said, the passion of our heart. I just want to know at the end of the day, I lay my head on that pillow and I did what I was supposed to do, and I brought maybe one more message of hope through a song.
Yes, I like artists, and particularly songwriters, who put I guess the word substance behind their work. I think the great, I'm talking about classical composers, and you'd be aware of all that there's, music's always a communication. It's a vehicle of communication. It is a communication, and if you've got nothing important to say, then in a way, kind of don't say it, or wait till the time is to say it. So having the awards gives you a platform. Yes. You could just build up your bank account and your visits to Florida and Hawaii, and that's fine to have prosperity. But if you've got a higher mission, a higher ordered mission, and that to reach out to people, and now the awards make that a bit easier and a bit more. As you said one of your videos had an initial following of about 7,000, I think you said, and then it's now gone to 400,000. So imagine the reach. And I think I've always understood success, commercial success in music's a lot related, if you think of it as an algorithm with like a Beatles tune, how many people get affected and influenced by, even if it's just an ordinary song that's not related to Christianity or anything of that nature. So you're having access to a greater reach. So therefore, your purpose in life becomes even more significant and important in that you, because you can reach more people, the integrity of your desire and how you're going to use that gift, gift from God. How are you going to use that gift to? He's given you a vehicle to reach more people, so that they resonate with what you're saying. It's like a responsibility, isn't it? It's like if you became a president or something like that, you could just spend a lot of time at Camp David and living it up, or you could try and make a difference, social justice or something. So you've got this vehicle now. If you could play on the music for your 7,000 or even less followers, or now you can play to an audience of 400,000 or even greater to that. And so it's a tremendous responsibility. But as I said, talking to you now, that's just seems something driving you. And what I said a minute ago is that I think, be it a jazz artist, be it a classical composer, be it a gospel writer, say something when you've got something important to say, because it's a very powerful vehicle, music. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Pepper would like me to ask my question. My computer just went off. Did you know that? I was reading the transcript. Pepper, could you ask it on my behalf?
Okay, so of all your awards, which is the most significant to you, and why?
Well, I kind of want to, I was going to answer that question based, I kind of answered that one a little bit with my first major award, the first gold award that I got. But, really, actually, from what David just shared, my real award, I would say, even though I have several of them, here, my biggest reward in my music is advocating for survivors of human trafficking. The video that he was referring to was my first video called Where Has Love Gone? I co-wrote that song with R&B artist Alan Stone right before he was signed to Capitol Records and went on Conan Live, and now has, a huge worldwide following. And so I would say, if I was going to, if I said, well, I could say, okay, this award here from the Intercontinental Music Awards for my song that I co-wrote with my producer, the song Higher. Yes, that meant so much because I got to write with such an amazing producer. That meant a lot. Or this one over here. But the truth is, the biggest award is the reward that I feel in my heart from what David just shared, because I feel it is imperative as an artist today to make a difference with our art, to make a difference with our music. There's plenty of music out there, 40,000 songs a day being uploaded to Spotify alone, right? Over that. And not all of it, let's just be real, not all of it makes an impact. I mean, some of it, I guess, makes a negative impact, but I feel like I have a calling to stand up for those who have no voice. And human trafficking has become the second largest crime in the United States and in the world. And so, my message, whether to help survivors themselves, which I do advocate, I do give back. I have a foundation to help with that. I do an annual benefit concert for that. Whether it's that or whether it's to help somebody who's not in trafficking, but just feels that helplessness, that hopelessness, that's my greatest reward and award, is to give that message to them of that your life has purpose, your life has meaning, and you are more than your circumstances. And so, yeah, as an artist, I would say that's it.
Thank you very much. With that sentiment in mind, we're going to turn to our second news segment. which is going to be a bit different today. So we'll go to a video intro and then we'll go right into the second news segment today. Welcome to the Global Sunday News. Today I'm going to do something that I have not done before. When you have a war, such as the war that has just suddenly and shockingly started in the Ukraine, if you don't know anybody from there, you can relate just on a human level. But what I want to do is I want to introduce you through sharing some of my experience in the Ukraine to the Ukrainian people. In 1989, it was the beginning of a period called Glasnost and Perestroika, which is about openness and sharing in the Soviet Union. And the first cultural exchange between the United States government and the Soviet Union was me as a choreographer for ballet. I went to Donetsk in the Donbass region. That is where the breakaway is. The opera house that my works were presented, the first classical ballet works done by an American in the Soviet Union's history, that opera house was bombed in 2014 to nothing. When I was there, they brought me chicken, they brought me cherries, they brought me these different things. I thought, oh, this is lovely and everything. I found out later that a chicken in that time cost 2 months' wages. A bowl of cherries was something that they didn't even have once a year. It was so expensive. And I didn't understand that the dancers were going all day in rehearsal. They were performing at night, and then they were going and dancing until 4 a.m. on, doing aerial acts and things like that in nightclubs, just so that they could collectively bring me a chicken. I went from there to Tartu, Estonia. But before I did, we introduced the first American ballroom dance competition couple. And ballroom dancing is a huge thing internationally. And when we came into the stadium, it was a stadium of about 40,000 people, and they paraded all of the different contingents from the different countries. And it was the first time the US had ever participated behind the Iron Curtain. And the girl who was on our team had chosen a dress that was this sort of butter blue or butter yellow and cobalt blue. She walked in and everybody jumped to their feet, started cheering, and then they started singing the Ukrainian national anthem, and they all brought out little flags that were the same colors as her dress. Now, we had no idea that the old Ukrainian flag was yellow and blue. We were put under house arrest. We were possibly going to be tried for inciting treason against the Soviet Union. So they got me out of there and they got me to Tartu, Estonia. Now in Estonia in 1989 had already broken away from the Soviet Union. And the people that did that were Ukrainians, and they went with me to Tartu. And I had to get back to Leningrad. St. Petersburg was then called Leningrad because I had to preside over a big international ballroom dance competition that was being sponsored by the Japanese. And so what they did was there was the Estonian boys choir. There was a Ukrainian director who said, I have an idea. We will make you one of the directors, speak only in French to us, and we will speak to you in French. They hid my passport so it couldn't be found, and we went on the border crossing, and I went in as a vocal coach to the Estonian boys choir. It was the day of the Estonian national when they came together as a nation. And the way they celebrated was when they made the accord, they lit a fire, and then the next hill saw the fire. So there are little fires twinkling all over the horizon. It's sunset, and the Soviets were flying MiG jets, I think they were called, buzzing the housetops. And so you have this beautiful sunset with like diamonds sparkling on the horizon. And then on a little transistor radio hanging from the rearview mirror of the bus came the Estonian national anthem. And the entire boys' choir stood as we drove on this bus and sang the national anthem. We got into St. Petersburg, Leningrad, and the KGB had been following me. When I got there, there was this group called Bad Balance, which is a hip hop group from Donetsk in the Ukraine, who had followed me. And what I learned later is they were going around behind the scenes, making sure I had everything, that I was protected. I had no idea. These are Ukrainian 18-year-olds. And I went in, and the head of the Leningrad Ballroom Dance Association invited me to breakfast. He took me in his car, and they drove me about 4 hours outside of Leningrad in the middle of the winter. And he said, unless you give me money, we're going to just leave you here and you will never be found. And so I said, well, I thought you were taking me to breakfast, so I didn't bring any money, but I'm happy to give you money back at the hotel. And he said, well, I want $200. And I said, only $200? I'll give you more than that. They took me back to the hotel. As I entered, though, I saw the Ukrainian boys among the guests in the hotel lobby. And when I got to my room, they had gone ahead of me to the room, and I opened the door and they pulled me in and they closed the door and they barricaded it. They'd already called the American embassy. Roll forward, 1991. I was in Moscow doing a ballet, and they shut down everything in Moscow. They thought people were going to have a revolution. And so they started setting up machine guns. As people were coming up out of the subway station, they would just machine gun them down. There was no electricity, no heat. There was gas on the stove. So we had the stove going and we heated water with the stove. And there was a Ukrainian man who I had met back in 1989 who had severe heart problems. And he had gone from Donetsk to Moscow. And every day he brought me a potato, a carrot, little thing of yogurt. There was no food anywhere in the city. And he organized through friends at Air France that he had for me to get away, me and my partner to get away to Italy and escape. These are the Ukrainian people. As you process this war, as you try to watch the news and digest the inhumanity, know that it is happening to those Ukrainian people. Reporting for the Global Sunday News, I'm Kenneth Ludden. We will have a video and then return to our discussion with international singer-songwriter Lisa Mitz. Thank you for listening.
This is your boy Smoochie. Yo, what's up everybody? This is your boy Smoochie the Real G. I just want to introduce you guys to my music video, titled Show My Chosen. The music video was shot in October 2020. It was released in December 2020. Shooting Show My Chosen music video was so much fun, lots of experience from the crew to everybody who was there. Why the title Show My Chosen is that I've been inspired by her lot of work. Show My Chosen herself, she's been doing well, you know, she's now international, you know. So from me, Smoochie, I just want to say thank you for watching Global Sunday. Peace.
Oh, Smooth Records. Yeah. She's the real G. Yellow, 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 yellow. She's all my girl, a very pretty girl, my baby girl. Can I be your man? I'm not gonna be that dumb from Guyana you used to date. Me and me gangs, I'm cool and collected, and I know how to treat a lady. Yo, you're the reason why it's smooth. Diga, switch up the flow. Never, baby girl, Josie girl, Shaya, ding dong. No, I gotta find out more. I'm gonna buy you the wall. Let's forget about them more. Talking about them. Some got girl, baby boy, same road, chillin' popo. Never give a F about it, popo. You and I, Namela, N1, go fella, cow butcher. Is N1, go fella, cow butcher. Show my Josie, show my Josie, show my Josie, yeah. Show my Josie, show my Josie, show my Josie, yeah. Tell 'em Shia, ding dong, Shia, ding dong. Tell 'em Shia, ding dong, Shia, ding dong. Show my Josie, show my Josie, show my Josie, yeah. Show my Josie, show my Josie, show my Josie, yeah. Tell 'em Shia, ding dong, Shia, ding dong. Kiss me, Shia, ding dong, Shia, ding dong. Show my Josie, show my Josie. When I'm carum popi, I'm talking to Josie. Maybe Gago Bozy. Feel Kasi Tori to Nana Gaha Bozy. Show my Josie. When I'm Ira Koti. Every time when I see your face on my TV screen, I go crazy. Even my woman, Kakunali Water when I write a song about you, baby. But it's too late. The song is done and it's too late. Small G, the real G, and you wanna be a G lady. Maya was a boy, was a boy, was a boy. Maybe sing a Jordan, was a boy. Maya was a boy.
Welcome back, everybody, on the Global Sunday with our lovely guest, Lisa Mitz. If you want to see the whole video, you can always go and watch it on the website of Global TV or Global Sunday. And I want to get back to the conversation. Thank you very much, Ken, for that. And Lisa, as a songwriter, tell us about your process for writing a song, please. Like, what inspires you? How do you start? How do you complete a new song? I find it always so interesting and intriguing how each artist has its own way or her way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is. It's quite a process for me. I will often be inspired by something. Sometimes it's something that a lot of times I'm going through personally. Like I shared about a couple of my own songs or something that I see going on in the world. Sometimes it's a little more practical. I wrote a song about my kids when my youngest two moved out. They're a year apart. You know, one moved out and one went to college. And I was really sad. I was kind of like borderline depressed. And my husband, you know, he said, she's like my #1 fan. He said, babe, you just need to write a song about it. I said, yeah, you know what, I do. And it's kind of like therapy in that way. I'll start with an idea, maybe a line. You know, obviously as a songwriter, you're looking for that hook, right? So that line that really is the message of the song becomes the hook of the song. Often for me, a time when I'm really feeling like, oh, I got to put everything else aside and I just got to go to my piano. And that's when I start kind of maybe getting some chords together, you know, just even one line. And then I always have chicken scratch paper everywhere. I have like these little, I'm not organized like that. I just start writing down, oh, I like that line. Cross that out, try another one. I carry my voice memo phone if I'm driving in the car and all of a sudden I hear something and I don't want to lose it. I'll do that. So that's kind of like.
Yeah, Lisa, I can so agree with you on that. I'm a songwriter myself, you know, and sometimes the best lines come at the worst time. Yeah. Like sometimes I'd be sleeping and I have to kind of like just get up and make sure that I record it on my phone, because I use my cell phone, the voice notes, and I record all my lines on there to make sure that when I get up, I have it pat, you know. So I can totally relate to what you're saying.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
That's such a beautiful experience. And talking about your son, I'm not going to be too long. I also wrote a song about my son before he was born. Quick story, I was at the hospital, my wife and I was listening to the machine go off, the heartbeat machine. So I kind of recorded his voice at the hospital, not his voice, his heartbeat. And then when I got home a few weeks later, I made a song around the heartbeat. So like I said, it's always the worst time when you get the best ideas, you know?
Love that.
Such an incredible experience.
So cool. Yeah, I love that.
So does the line come to you in a phrase, or does it come to you with a rhythm and a phrase, or does it come with you as a rhythm, phrase, and some music or a chord?
A lot of times the line will just come, like I'll hear the words, you know, or something that I'm trying to communicate, and then I'll kind of sing it out, you know, in a way. And that's why for me, synergistically, I do have to be at the piano often, because it kind of will come as I'm getting those chord progressions or the rhythm of it. Then of course I will sit with my producer and he'll say, oh, I really like this, but we're going to change this.
Okay.
and you know, and I love that, because I know he's one of the things, as a side note, in songwriting, my songwriting has gotten better and better over the years, working with artists and producers who are better than me. And I think that's so important as an artist today, that we surround ourselves with people who bring the best out of us, who cause us to grow in our craft. So I co-wrote a song that I'm getting ready. Well, it's probably another question coming down, but I worked with another artist, Michal Tober, who is an Emmy Award recipient. She's a vocal coach, incredible, a mom, very humble. But you know, in working with her and working with my producer, Brandon B., I can see how I've grown so much, because they've taught me, you know, this is a higher level of songwriting. Okay.
And the question of David made me aware again how little I know about composition, because David, you know, it's very, very interesting, the different kind of thinking, because I also, on the flight back, I suddenly had this moment of being in the airplane, almost everybody's sleeping. And then I was watching a TV show, and then I said, okay, stop. Gotta write down something, start a new project. And it happened right there. Got my tablet, typed in, you know, for an hour or so, it took me to write down one sentence that would be now the core for a new project, as a description. So I'm excited to hear how you go through it. And then David immediately is like, oh yeah, you know, the musicians. I thought that's really cool.
You know, my degrees are in history, and I'm old enough to have lived through most of history. Western music began, you know, almost 1500 years ago with Gregorian chant, church music. And then all the way up until really the, you know, 1890s, the church and religious music morphed into classical music, and it really developed. However, from the 1890s till the 1990s or so, there's 100 years of just commercialization of music, and you know, the popes and the kings weren't paying for it anymore, and even recording classical music sort of died out in this commercial thing. Now, and this is something that that was brought up before, your position your recognition. And again, using music that is related to religion, related to church, related to Christianity, related to spirituality, you're in this unique position. Because again, now you're able to lead society and music forward from that spiritual deep place. And from that, the thing that brings the light that is already in you out. So this gives you a lot of options. And you now, with this recognition, are guiding society as an individual. Where are you going to take us on this journey?
Wow, that is a profound question. I think, again, it's the same message that I have been sharing with you all and with those that are listening, that, my biggest desire, I'm a mom, I'm actually even a grandma, I have grandbabies now. And my biggest desire in my journey as an artist, as a musician, is really, it's a tool, it's a way to leave a legacy of love, a legacy of hope, a legacy of your life matters while you're here. Do something with it that glorifies God, that brings out the best, not just of who you are, but of who others are. And that's my message that I want to leave through my music. That's the journey that I'm on. That's why I do the work that I do, to help those in the chains of trafficking, because I really believe that nobody is an accident, and that, we all have something to give. And so whatever songs I'm going to be writing, whether that's about not giving up on your dream, whether that's about my own healing from pain, whether that's about my kids, whether that's about just being happy and joyful in the moment, whatever message I'm bringing in a song, it's all going to come from that place in the journey.
Wow. It's so amazing. It's so amazing that you talk about not giving up on your dreams, because if you think about it, sometimes your dream, you kind of feel like it's your purpose, it becomes something that you feel like you have to do it, especially being a musician. Some people that are not musicians probably won't understand it, but it's kind of like you feel like you're obligated to do this, And yeah, it's so crazy that you mentioned that don't give up on your dreams. That's so awesome.
Being a musician, I say it's like the worst addiction. Because every time I think, okay, I'm done, I'm not going to record anymore. And then it's like, oh God, I just can't stop, or I'm not going to perform. I'm not going to go, and then it's like, no, I got to do it again. And it's just hilarious. I have a wonderful music film director who's done several of my last videos. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got to do it again. It's my bad addiction. And we started laughing. It's true.
It's really great to work with that kind of addict. I'm working with David Pike, and he talks about something, and then you don't hear from him, and then suddenly he comes back with a new composition, and I go like, okay, where did he get that from? It's just like, I don't know, does he go outside, it rains and something grows, or is it the wind, the inspiration that he brings to the table? Oh, wow. And then I just go, what? It's incredible.
Now you got me intrigued. Now I've got to listen for sure to what he does. It's true. It's in our blood. It's in our blood.
So let's check out one of your videos, titled Breakthrough.
What the breakthrough looks like before it comes. This is how the darkness feels right before the dawn. Hold on to your dream, though the pull is strong. This is what the breakthrough looks like just before it comes. Just before it comes. Just before it comes. The struggle is so real. Right before it comes. Just before it comes. Have you felt it in your heart? It even skips a beat. Seems so close and yet so far, almost out of reach. But the dawn is breaking. There's a road ahead. Just a few more steps and then you can see again. Just before it comes. Just before it comes. The struggle is so real. Right before it comes. It's about to come. The breakthrough is here. It's in the journey, facing fear. The breakthrough is here. It's in the journey, facing fear. It's in the journey, facing. It's in the journey. Just about to come. Just before.
She rolling with me, now she know my whip. They rolling on me, now down my wrist. I got bangs, lights, relics. Ready, 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 ready. Ready or not, we coming hard, straight from the top. Ready or not, I got my bros straight from the top. Ready or not.
Ready? No, I got all my bands on, no. I'm just making all this money, yeah, I'm cashing up. All my niggas in the street tryna get it all. All my niggas by the guap, yeah, we get it all. This shit, hunters, no. Making money, money, oh no.
Oh. How would I advise independent artists today? I would say the best thing is to stay true to who you are. And then from there, don't try to form yourself to fit into a certain crowd, or find your tribe by who you are, who resonates with your message, and then just stay true to that, and keep growing and get creative with your writing, and surround yourself with other artists and people who can support you in that. And sooner or later, it's going to happen where those people who really resonate with you are going to be your solid fans, your tribe, your family. They're going to support you in your journey.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Quickly, I'm just gonna send shout out one more time, because I can see they say they couldn't hear me, and I know people at home, they love to be acknowledged. So quickly again, Lisa, we got your question, or got your comment actually. Utilapana, I'm so in love with her voice. I'm so sorry about the audio there. And then Lisa was just answering a question from Positivity there on Facebook. It's a question for Lisa. How would you advise independent artists? Okay, that was the answer at the Singers Lapaya Lisa. And then also at Lapayana, let me go up. Uskona ati I would like to say, Lisa, you are an amazing woman and inspiration too. I wish you all the best. Now I know you're not gonna beat me up. Shout out to all of you guys. Thank you so much. Let's go back to our conversation, and I'm just gonna pass it over to David Pike. I know he's dying to ask a question. Mr. Pike, sir, are you ready to ask a question?
Hi again, Lisa. We're up to lucky number 7, I believe, and that's a lucky number sometimes. You've incorporated jazz, pop, country, and instrumental innovation in your work. You work together with some of the greatest of our time. Again, this presents an opportunity and some responsibility. What are some of the lessons you've shared with those fellow greats, and how has it allowed you to explore new territory?
So, I kind of alluded a little bit to the work that I've done working with other artists and producers who've really caused me to hone my craft, to grow. I'll tell you a funny story. When I was working with Alan Stone, he produced my first 3 albums. My first 2 were contemporary Christian and praise and worship. I also had lived in Israel for a number of 4 years. And so that was kind of me developing as a worship leader. But my 3rd album with him, which is called You Found Me, was more of a contemporary Christian indie R&B influence from Alan, where I wrote several songs that I wouldn't necessarily sing in church, but they were more of my story. And so one day we're in the recording studio, and I have to sing this note, I have to sing this one part of the song. And I remember just absolutely crying because I felt so inadequate. And here I am in front of Alan Stone, who is this amazing singer. And he tells me, you gotta go warm up more. I'm leaving. You go over there, face that wall, and just do all your vocal exercises. And that was a humbling moment for me because, many of us artists, we're so sensitive anyway, and we feel we're not okay, we're not good enough, and we're always comparing ourselves. And I had one of those teachable moments where I just said, okay, I got to gut it up. I can't sit here and cry all day in the studio. I got to get my vocals going, get them to the best they can be. And since then, I've grown more and more and more the more I've worked with different coaches. And so I would say I've learned many lessons from different people that I've worked with, mostly to grow. And that always is a little uncomfortable. It should make us feel a little uncomfortable when we're working with somebody who brings that best out of us, because it's like a coach. It's like a dance coach, right? You know, there were many times my daughter's ballroom dance coach, because she did that for many years, would, you know, almost, it's like, it sounds like harsh, but it's really because they believed in them. And so I'd say that for myself too, that, you know, it's so important to work with people who are going to do that for you.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Ken's about to make a comment on that, but I know some very, very top musicians that go to master classes and continue to learn. You can never stop learning. So, yeah.
You never stop. Yeah, so true.
No, it's you know, and you said it earlier, you've got to align yourself with people that are better than you. You've got to, and one of the thing about the people that care about what they do, whether it's, you know, symphonic music or singing or dancing or acting or anything, the greats, they don't take any time for themselves. They don't put the spotlight on themselves. They put the spotlight on the work.
Yeah.
And they have a way of cutting right to the quick and hitting it right on the head. Like he said, you go face the wall, do your warm up, get your vocals together. That's not harsh. That's actually the best encouragement you can have, because he knew that you could. So just do it. And there was a ballerina once who we were getting ready to do a world premiere, and there was a girl in the company who was crying, and she was full of nerves, and the ballerina slapped her across the face and said, schedule your nervous breakdown for your day off. Now get out there and dance.
I love that. Now I feel like I'm not the only one. Yeah, I mean, it's so true. I was in Franklin, Tennessee, at the very famous Castle Studios, where there's been over 400 I think it's 400,000 platinum albums or something crazy. I mean, it's like the greats. You talk about the greats. I mean, they have all been there. And I'm in this place, and that producer, he had me sing my song, this one song, Let Love Rain Down Tonight, where I had people like Chip Davis, who sings for Alabama. He's a background singer for him. I had Gordon Mote, a blind keyboardist in Nashville, one of the greatest of all times. All these people had already done their part, and now it was me. And he had me sing. I am not kidding. I think I sang that song 38 times. I mean, I was so exhausted by the end. But he just kept me, you know, he said, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Go take a break. Go outside. Go talk to the wind or something. But come back, and then, you know, we're going to do it again.
That's
no.
So true.
Anyway.
That's so true. That's so true. You know, some of the best, even the athletes, you have to keep honing your craft. You have to keep updating your craft. And I love what you said earlier on about how could you talk to upcoming artists? How could you advise them? I love what you said about stay true. It's almost like you stole that out of my mind, because when he said it, I was like, wow, stay true. And you just said the same thing that I was thinking. You have to stay true to yourself.
Yes.
You know, and I can tell that you're an artist that kind of, you think things through. I could tell even by the way that you're answering the questions. And like, as for me, I'm a fan of titles, and I can tell even by your titles that you kind of think things through, and you know exactly where you want to go with it. And I'll be questioning you, but I know you've got 7 original albums, and 2 instrumental discs. I want to just read the titles to you. I'd like to read the titles in this order. I hope that right. Heart Song, Deeper Love, My Heart Burns, You Found Me, Songbird, and Where I Belong, The Breakthrough, and Fly Away. If you could just describe the journey and the titles themselves, I feel like they're a narrative. And can you just tell us more about the story behind it, you know, those titles?
Yeah, I'll try to be more brief. So actually they're in the right order except Heart Songs, which those are Heart Song Volume 1 and 2 are my instrumentals, which I'll get back to in a minute. But My Heart Burns and Deeper Love were my very first two as a worship leader living in Israel, coming back to the United States with all our kids. I have 4 kids. I wrote those songs really out of my own desire to take my music to a professional level, as an artist and as a worshiper kind of. But then, some of those songs actually even have Hebrew on them. And then You Found Me. Yeah, and I've had a lot of people write me and tell me that they've really ministered to their heart, that those 2 albums. When I listened to those, I realized how much I've grown though over the years. Those were 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
I've grown a lot vocally, I've grown a lot songwriting wise, but the third one, You Found Me, is the one that I referred to just a minute ago about being in the studio. Alan Stone, who's an R&B artist, phenomenal. That album came out the night that he went on Conan Live and Jimmy Kimmel and everything. So he's become quite famous.
Okay.
Then that album also, You Found Me, was it was a crossover album for me that I started performing in coffee houses and wineries and restaurants because I could take some of those songs on that album, which had that R&B, rock and singer-songwriter influence. And do that. And then Where I Belong, I'm sorry, Songbird was the next one. I went to Nashville. That's the one that I did at the Castle Studios. And that's a really amazing album because it's dedicated to survivors of trafficking. And so the song Beautiful Songbird, I had many men hear it and weep and cry when I performed that. So that album has a little bit of a country, being in Nashville too. It has some of my beginnings of modern country and pop music. And then Where I Belong, I kind of returned a little bit to my contemporary Christian and singer-songwriter roots. And then The Breakthrough, which we shared about. Fly Away is my latest one that I released this past end of October, beginning in November. And that I co-wrote with my producer, Brandon B. I also released 5 singles in between those 2 albums, The Breakthrough, 5 singles I produced with Brandon, co-wrote with him. And then we did this album. Fly Away is a magnificent, my latest music video. It's up on my YouTube channel. We recorded it, we filmed it right here in Prescott, Arizona at Watson Lake up on a mountain. It's just rock mountains, really. They're all rocks. It's really special. I love that album because it's a collaboration with somebody that I really look up to in the music world. He's amazing. And I think that if you listen to it, you're going to go, wow, that's a really good album.
So David and I shared the love for the nature that we experienced in Prescott when we met there of Granite Mountain. And we started to, film and do compositions. And actually something's happening out of this experience of being there in the nature. It's incredible. It's beyond words. What happens when you are there, it's very special. So I can really relate to that, what you just mentioned.
So you have to watch sometime later today, you have to watch my Fly Away, because my Fly Away music video was filmed in the granite dells there at Watson Lake. And it's absolutely magnificent. So
It is beautiful.
That's good. Yes. Also, I always relate to David that I say, watching Granite Mountain in the distance contains some of the longing for something. And kind of came to terms that we couldn't get there or go there this time. And so there's quite something also about, you know, like some people always say you need an apartment with sunlight. My father's an architect, and he says sometimes it's not so bad being on the north side because you can see the other facades being lit up. So there's this thing that also looking at something or being there, that makes a huge difference. I'm very much looking forward to see the video, and I'll watch it.
I'm excited for you.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about something a little bit frankly, and you starting off Jewish and going into Christian music and being a spiritual leader. I 4 times in my life I went through the process to convert to Judaism, but then 4 times I stopped right before the final thing because I thought, I can't deal with these people at the synagogue. They're just too nosy, you know what I mean? So I want to get to a very central issue for the lay public, for the non-religious. Okay, so being preachy in any public expression limits your audience to those who already believe and those who are ready to believe. Okay, in your music, you aren't preachy at all. And you don't bully people with strict Christian messages or demands on them, which I all respect to you. I mean, that's very important. But this allows you to reach and move everyone with your music, okay? It also sets you apart from most artists in your genre.
Yeah.
And I see this as a bit of a risk, and yet the power of your music has let you do that, okay? To take the risk and succeed at it. So have you experienced any pushback from your producers, booking agents, or Christian marketing professionals because you don't do that bully pulpit thing of forcing people to believe or declare that they believe?
What a great question. And I don't know why I'm feeling a little emotional right now. First of all, let me just say, I know what it's like. Like I said, I never really walked into a church, so my quest for knowing God was out of my own story of trauma and pain and healing that I so desperately wanted. Not just that, to also a deep, deep longing to know my purpose, to know who I was, that that my life meant something. And so I can totally relate to that in other people because I lived it and I still live it. I don't believe you have to be in a church at all to know the God who loves you and who created you and who wants you to be in relationship. So because of that, I don't at all feel like my job is to push that down anybody's throat. I feel like you lead someone by your example, your love, your own message, and every one of us has to make our decisions, right? We all have to make our own choices in that way. As far as pushback goes, my producer now, Brandon, is actually amazing. He is a worship leader, and even in other producers that I've worked with that have been Christian or not Christian, like Alan Stone is not Christian, even though he produced my first few. When I worked in Nashville, I don't know that they were all Christians, but everybody that I've worked with actually has been extremely supportive of who I am. And in fact, in a behind the scenes music video that I did with Brandon, he actually made that very point, David, that you just said about, I'm sorry, not David. I just went blank with your name, but Ken. Yes, Ken. Ken, that he was saying that because I am the way I am, I can draw more people because I don't push it, because my music is in a way where I can go, like I'm going to be in Sedona next weekend at the Hilton performing, and I'll perform a lot of my songs, but they, I know the message of where they are at, and I'll probably have some people at the end come up to me and say, are you a Christian artist? You know, but it's kind of like I'm incognito a little bit, because I'm also going to do cover songs. I'm going to do Tracy Chapman, and I'm going to do Adele, and I'm going to do, you know, Colby Calais. And so I love that ability to, it's a wonderful saying, to preach the gospel, but only use words if necessary. In other words, you know, be that example. Ooh, I get chills. So anyway, yeah, that's thank you for that question, because that always is my heart. I always want people to know that they're truly loved for who they are.
Beautiful. That's so amazing. So amazing. It's true. It goes back to what you said earlier on about staying true to yourself. You know, you don't have to be forceful and stuff like that on people. You know, let the people choose, because eventually the message will reach those that actually need to hear it at that specific time. You know, it'll actually reach the people that are going through something, that need to actually hear what you're saying at that specific moment, and it'll change their lives.
Yes.
So I think let's go to your music video, Where's Love Gone?
Oh, that's an intense one. So this is my first video that was 10 years ago now, and it is my work that I have done to help survivors of human trafficking. It's an intense video, I do want to warn everyone, but it has blown up in the last 3 months. It went from 39,000 views to approaching 400,000 views now. So you can watch it. I recommend that don't show it to children under 13. Be there to explain what's going on, but that's that video. Where's that one?
Heard the cries of war, felt the sting of death, saw the hunger in the eyes of a child. Where has love gone? Heard the cries of war, felt the pain of despair, saw the strength of hopelessness and fear. Where has love gone?
Welcome back to Global Sunday. What a confronting but powerful video we've just seen. Lisa, I have a question for you. and it emanates related to that work that you've done 10 years ago on that particular video, but which small things can help make this a better world today?
Well, I think everybody has a responsibility to, do the small things, whether it's, I mean, we hear what's going on in the Ukraine, right? I mean, that just broke my heart, hearing Ken share what he shared, that story. I think each of us on a daily basis, we can be kind. We can do something, bring food, look and see what can we do in our own world. Maybe say I'm sorry to somebody. Just be those little things that mean so much, that I think we get so caught up in defending ourselves and all the stuff of being human. And it just really comes down to those small acts of kindness, and gratitude is such an important thing, not taking our lives for granted, or the people around us for granted.
It's absolutely true. When my father died, and I was the eldest son, and all the people came by to say their thing, it shocked me, because the word that everybody included in what they said about my father was that he was kind, and about kindness. I think in this world, when we are so pushed to gain for ourselves and, to make our place and think about ourselves and worry about ourselves and all that, you can do that. But if you're kind, you have succeeded as a human, I think.
Yes, no, it's so true. It's very self-centered, and social media has kind of added to that in a lot of ways. We try to give an image of certain thing on the outside, when in fact it's really about what's important on the inside and how we're treating people when nobody's watching, so I agree.
Very soon we will be about to finish and wrap up this show. So before we are, I really appreciated the exchange and the new inspiration that we had from sharing here. And this show is an incredible opportunity for all of us, not only those viewing, but also those participating in connecting. And connection is so important, and celebrating the beauty of what we can create as humans, the human thought, the human spirit, and respecting each other's spirit is very important in these times, as we can see that peace can end abruptly in a second. We're not safe here. This is not safe. We're humans. This is skin. This skin is nothing. You can hurt yourself, you can fall, you can end up in an accident. So if we can use the time we have now and do something for the better, I think it'll help not only ourselves, but also others.
Yes, totally agreed, 100%.
The Prince.
Yeah, so Lisa, where can people reach you? How can the fans get hold of you?
So they can reach me in a number of ways. If you go to my website, lisamitsmusic.com, and my name is, if you think of like baseball mitts or oven mitts, MITTS, lisamitsmusic.com. Then there's an opportunity to, I'll send you a free MP3 if you want to sign up to be on my monthly newsletter to stay in touch with me. You can find me obviously on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So everywhere it's all Lisa Mitz Music, and I will write you back if you write me. I would love to hear from you.
Yeah, that's so amazing. You're such an amazing soul, Lisa. So nice to chat with you. Unfortunately, our time is almost up. We have to end the show. Any last words?
I just want to thank each of you. You guys are amazing. I've been interviewed a lot, but this was probably the best interview as far as the most thought-provoking questions. And Lungani too, I think I met him at my concert here in Prescott, and what a beautiful person. So thank you all, each of you.
So we go around doing what our last words are. And the last words that I would like to leave with is, and this is to all of our viewers out there, we looked at the music, we went in deep, we talked about these things, but this woman has taken her talent, her opportunity, her whole life experience, and she is focusing on human trafficking. We really didn't talk about that. It is a huge problem in the world. And so please get in touch with Lisa, find out what you can do. Look, wherever you are in the world, find your local resources to help in the fight against human trafficking. We very woefully did not really focus on that, but it is an absolutely one of the biggest crises facing the human race. You know, there are all these things that go on in the moment, the wars, the this, the that, but when you destroy a child's ability to trust people and to believe in themselves, you just hurt 5 generations. And we've got to push back against that. Those are my final words. I'm on team Lisa Mitz all the way on that.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, yes. I will help in whatever way I can if anybody needs help. Thank you.
It's always a really great pleasure to meet an artist that's I see lots of music and things, and a lot of it I'm just throwing it out there. I haven't done the statistic, but I think there's so much about, you know, teenage love or falling in love and all that, and that's a beautiful aspect of the human existence. But I really treasure people who, through their music, project other things that need to be projected. So well done, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time, and also to all our viewers for checking in again. And having worked on a podcast with performing artists last year, there was a clown, and he said, if I make a great show for 200 kids and everybody's laughing and having a great time, and then after the show, there's one kid and who comes to me and I'm like, oh, I'm so full of adrenaline. But if I miss the chance to listen to this one kid, I have failed everybody. Because even one single person is really important. And if you have been passed the candle and you have been passed one of these candles to carry the light, then you have a responsibility, and it's a possibility and an opportunity to mean something to somebody. So have a very good Sunday, everybody. And I'll pass on to whoever's going to close the show.
Yes, Mr. People Tafel, that is me. Thank you so much to all of you guys. That was really amazing. Thank you so much on Facebook. Thank you so much on YouTube, Instagram. Thank you so much on Diverse TV. Yeah, thank you so much to Lisa, our special guest today. Really amazing. A lot of people are inspired at home. I can see comments here. I can see Ebenezer is almost crying. I say, phenomenal queen. Such an amazing work with a lot of heart. Shout out to you, Ebenezer. I can see Payana. Shout out to all of you guys. Corner, I can see you there. Shout out to you guys for staying with us. Shout out to Princeton there in Durban, South Africa. I know it's very late. Shout out to you, people Tafel there in Germany. I know it's late as well. Mr. Ladin, I know you haven't been feeling well lately, but I mean, you got this. Thank you so much. Mr. Pike, I know it's very early. It's like 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning in Australia. So shout out to you. And I just want to say shout out to Una Lady who tried to join us earlier on, but due to signal issues there in South Africa, she couldn't join, but she's an amazing lady as well. She's part of us. I just want to say to Lisa, welcome to the Global Sunday family. You're part of us now. Anytime you have anything new, that you want to announce on your new audience, please let us know. New song, you broke your nail, you broke your toe, you're just feeling sad, you want to share it with the public, let us know. We just let your people know that this is what you are up to. From me, Ulungani Kwala, I just want to say thank you so much to all of you again. aka Umfana ka Chocolate Kid Leo. I will see you next time, same place. It's gonna be a different date, but it's gonna be the same place and the same time. Remember, next week we have the articulation show. Please do tune in. It's gonna be so amazing. From me, I will see you next time. Bye.
Heard the cries of war, felt the sting of death, saw the hunger in the eyes of a child. Where has love gone?
Whatever suits best. But
like before it comes. This is how the darkness feels right before the dawn. Hold on to your dream, though the pull is strong. This is what the breakthrough looks like just before it comes.
To arrive in style, first you have to arrive.
Don't understand what's going on here.
The all-new fourth generation.
This is Lungani Gwala, aka Chocolate Kid Leo. Join our growing show, The Global Sunday. We stream live on YouTube every Sunday, 11:30 a.m. for American MT time. African time, 8:30 p.m. every Sunday. We host special guests. We give you latest news, global news, and the entertainment news. Click the link below if you want to find out more. Thumbs up and some hearts. Cheers.
Hi, my name is Ashley Christina. I go by Ash. Make time for what you love and for the people you love. Thank you for watching Global Sundays with Lungani.
What up, world? My name is Jesse Villegas. I'm originally from Phoenix, Arizona. Currently, I reside in Prescott, Arizona. I own and operate a coffee shop called The Porch. Work hard and be kind. You're watching Global Sunday with Lungani.
For those that don't know me, I'm a singer. I'm a singer who loves God. You know, I'm that singer who loves God. I sing with Him every time I ever sing. So I'm that singer that tells a story.
With anything in life, there will be challenges, there will be hurdles and stumbling blocks, but I honestly think to make it, you need perseverance, number one. Secondly, you need dedication.